Welcome back to the LCS Challengers. Here I am, Mazel. I'm joined by Cubby in person, and then we've got Magical somewhere off in the distance. But we did have a crazy start off to our day, a 2-0 victory, one of the cleanest we've seen from FlyQuest Challengers. And now we're getting into our second matchup of the day. So let's go ahead and bring up that match schedule because we do have Dignitas Challengers taking on Team Liquid Honda Challengers. I think when we see this matchup, say banger might be the first words that come to mind. I don't know. I'm getting a head nod here. Magical, what about you?
I mean, when you look at it on paper and you just look at the results of last year, you'd be like, yeah, it's the reunion, right? We got the two finalists facing off against each other. But TLC have had a bit of struggles in this season compared to what we expected from them. Well, Dignitas have been one of the top of the table teams, and we have obviously touted them as being one of the best, only competed against with Cloud9 challengers.
Yeah, speaking of, though, we got to go back and go down memory lane to some extent and see about those wonderful memories from last year's PG finals.
And it's wild for me to think that like Dignitas even made it to the finals.
Yeah.
They made it through upsetting TL in the winners bracket, who were our best team for the year. And it's also crazy to think that like this was the roster that was supposed to be Dignitas Academy last year, except it was JJ instead of Diamond. Because because of the River trade, because of all the crazy things that happened for Dignitas, they just said, all right, you know what, we're not doing all LCS. We're just gonna see if we can start our Academy team for the most part, see what we can do, what we can use to make it. It was a totally different final, but it was really supposed to be this squad with JJ against TL and Dignitas. I know from talking with the squad last year, they really believed that they could have won the whole thing with this group plus JJ instead. So it's kind of curious now. Of course, the only returning finalist we have is Bradley for TL. But still, I think it speaks a lot that not only were both of these teams good last year, but again, very competitive this year with Dig at the top of the standings and TL coming off of a blistering performance yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you're harkening back to these kinds of runs from TL from first part, right? They did win back-to-back proving grounds last year, but contested both times. I think it was really nice to see a little bit of a difference. It wasn't just the TL versus 100 Thieves over and over again. We got that resurgence from Dignitas, but there he is, the man himself, Bradley, my man, picking up that second chain for himself. And I think this roster as a whole, we've seen them utilize their strengths so well. And specifically yesterday, but also the rest of this time, it has been really incredible, Magical, to see kind of the additional assets that Mir brings to the table, that APA brings to the table, and even Arrow himself.
The team is very unique now. It's not quite what we saw last time. APA with a very unique champion pool. There's a reason why we like to talk about him a lot. The Ziggs play is something that's always fun to watch. But how Mir plays around the map and how he really does try to help out with APA and even Bradley on the top half of the map to then translate leads into Arrow in this bot lane, I think are really where we've seen a lot of the successes out of TLC in this year, utilizing Bradley as not necessarily a carry, but more of this big, beefy front line so that Mir can make these plays.
He's looking real good on the Scion, Cubby. I don't know what you think.
Bradley's always been, a Scion believer. I know it was used Game 5 in spring for TL, and that was pretty big as they won that final. But I think for me with TL, like something that they've really been talking about a lot of late is how they've really tried to buff up their macro play and their team play just across the map. And I think that for me, Bradley is still someone who isn't performing to the likes of where we would like to see Bradley compared to some of the highs of last year. But he has a good chance to, again, step up today and play against Hoon, who has been one of our best, our better top laners this week.
And we all know Hoon in time, Magical, but this is Dignitas time. And after Cloud9 kind of pushed themselves up to that first place yesterday, I know Dignitas will be ready and raring to go, playing from this LCS studio today, as they did have internet outages, and Spawn coming back to the roster here. Should be a lot of fun.
Well, and when we look at Dignitas, like you're looking at Spawn, I want to talk about him a little bit, but I do kind of want to hone in on Insanity, right? Because Insanity, the only player on this Dignitas Challengers team that is still the same member from the finals that they had last time when they faced off against Team Liquid Academy. And so you have kind of a rivalry a bit between Bradley and Insanity, two finalists facing off against each other, but Bradley with the one with the two chains around his neck. But Insanity this year, with this Dignitas squad, have been arguably the best team that we have in the Challengers League. And I said before, the only team that really seems to be competing with them for that title has been Cloud9 Challengers, and even that, it just depends on the day and what kind of compositions or what kind of unique plays we get from both squads. Because for Dignitas, I feel like XU has played really well with the top side of the map as well, kind of like how Mir has for TLC to really help build up Hoon, where Insanity is just like, yeah, you do that for the top side, and I'll rotate around the rest of the map to make sure that everything, all the other gaps are filled.
And I think that for Dignitas, again, I want to see how they do today, because of course we do have Spawn playing, and this is one of the consequences of having an NACL team that is so good is that sometimes like that team is put to the wayside for the LCS squad. That's how it is.
2 years in a row.
But again, for Spawn, he was a top 3 marksman that we had last year in Academy, and I want to see, obviously it was not a good split so far for Spawn and LCS. He really struggled in lane, but this is an opportunity for him to prove himself against Arrow and Kim Down, step back up, gain some of that confidence, and be the player that we know really led to being promoted in the first place for Spawn and LCS.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice little test here, and it's something where we said Dignitas definitely want to stay in that first place running, make sure they have an easy matchup going into playoffs here for themselves. But we are now getting into the halfway point of our horse derby today. Let's kick it off with another one in style, guys. Have some fun.
Is the halfway point or like the 1/3 way? Because like we're still not halfway. It's only been 2 games.
But game-wise.
No, I'm just saying, got to make sure we get our fractions here correctly. Math is very important. And
I'm dressed like the professor. You are as well, but you have the chalkboard behind you, so I feel like you're more apt to.
All right, let's see.
More apt and keen.
All right, math
to go through fractions. Math hard.
Good.
Math is good. Oh, I'm glad that we can spread some positive messages here and using our Challengers League platform to make sure that we all know that math is good. But hey, moving forward, you know what else is good right now? Marksman. We see a lot of marksmen being banned out as we have an Ashe, a Caitlyn taken away. The Lucian Zeri handshake is up. I do want to see if Dignitas, maybe we see that early Zeri picked, given that all the junglers are up. But of course, we have seen them really lean towards that Elise. Elise is on the table for XU. Dignitas wants to continue the game plan that we've seen from them and what has been a full court press across the board. All early game for Dignitas when it comes to their strats.
Now, I would expect that, even though Maokai was the pick that they opted to go for.
Ooh,
I was expecting it to Elise over Maokai, leave the Sejuani or Maokai be the option for Mir, since he's played both of those. But since Maokai has been drafted, Mir, Sejuani makes much more sense that that's going to be the lock-in that we see, the handshake of junglers.
Yeah, I'm honestly really curious to see the Maokai locked in over Elise. Again, Elise has been a really big play for XU, and he's also prioritized the Sejuani over the Maokai for the most part. So maybe they got something up their sleeve. Could be AD mids. Maybe they really value the Jace here at the halfway point. If you are Dignitas, it has been something that Insanity has been playing mid, and we know that Hoon can play on the top side as well.
Yeah, it allows a lot of flexibility, and this is, I think, something we are seeing a lot more lately on 313, has been flexibility of drafts, but this
you
is
say
actually
that,
not
Matt
flexible.
Magical.
Yeah, I say that, and then we get what we've been seeing this entire split so far, Lucian Nami versus Zeri Lulu.
Sejuani? Do we see a Sejuani here?
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. It's not surprising. We're not going to be surprised by that one. There it is, locked in.
We're just 5-head here, Matt Magical, as boring draft so far, but could see some spies from the solo laners, hopefully, as TLC. I gotta say, Fiora comes to mind. It's been a big champ for both Hoon and Bradley, as I believe it is both of their most played so far this split. So that's one that really comes to the table. I should say Nar's been the most played for Hoon, but we still know that Hoon can play the Fiora, has put up some good games on it. That's actually going to be taken off the board. Really curious if we see TLC. Lucian Nami, they do have trouble getting through a Scion. Maybe Scion's what they're going to set up for here on R4 and give APA that counter on R5.
I do like that for TLC, but if Dig read this play, they should ban that away as well. Taking Jax off of the table, something that has been good for Bradley as well, the Pentakill that we got to see earlier in the clips. But Scion is one of these picks that has really started to dominate top lane picks, especially when you look at compositions, as you called out, the Lucian Nami. You can't burst through that big, beefy Scion anymore.
Look for a Gwen ban here. If we see Gwen ban, then I think that we have to have a Scion ban response here from Dignitas. It's going to be Camille. So again, another matchup that, you can play into the Scion. Already seeing some of the magic damage here for Dignitas. Maybe not too worried about the Gwen, but we'll see if Sion's taken off the board or what kind of answer Hoon has into it. Of course, Gwen is on the table for him. Jace could be a big pick here for Dignitas. They already are showing some magic damage with the Maokai and Lucianami packs a little bit, so Jace could be a really nice pick into the Zeri Lulu. Definitely champs we're looking out for in the next phase.
Huh. Leah, actually, the ban. Instead of going for that Sion, that kind of was expected. Now, I'm imagining Sion will be the pickup here for Bradley. Something pretty standard, pretty easy. Then the other side, the Jace, the Gwen, these picks that can kind of flex around. Like Insanity can take the Jace, you can get Gwen top side.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm exactly leaning towards the Gwen as much as you are, but I am kind of looking towards that Jace.
I'm not.
Insanity.
I like this pick. I like Cho'Gath.
Yeah, this is more what I was thinking, more than the Gwen. That's why I'm like, Gwen, I'm like, I can take it or leave it. But the Cho'Gath, I like a lot more. So there we go.
Yes. All right. I'm a big Cho'Gath believer. This champion, if you get out of the first few waves as Cho'Gath, it is so good throughout the game. You are the tank that counters tanks. So playing this in the Sejuani Sion topside, for me, really good for Dignitas. You can buy so much space later as well, not to mention the silences you have to go in. It's going to force APA onto a control mage. Now, Jace is something we talked about a lot, that it's kind of tough into both Sion and Sejuani. We actually have an AD option, but it's going to be more of a tank buster in the Tristana for Insanity. So I remember him playing this on the LCS stage with Immortals, really solid Tristana and Lucian player at that time. See what the answer is for APAs. It's a Cassiopeia. Oh my.
So I actually like the Cassiopeia because levels, I think at 1 through 4, you outrange Tristana, and you are a really difficult matchup for this Tristana to do much about. Sure, Tristana can clear out pretty well, but APA I'm expecting to play very aggressively in those first 4 levels to make it really difficult for Insanity to do too much.
I mean, you can answer Trist early in terms of trading. The thing that I'm worried about for Cassio as we move throughout the game, yes, you have the tank busting power, but you are vulnerable to range. And the range of the Maokai, Twisted, or I should say Nature's Grasp, the range of the Tidal Wave from Nami, the culling as well from Spawn, those will be things that APA is going to have to be really careful about. So I think Flash could be really valuable on him, and I'm also really curious if he ends up going for a Ghost or Exhaust against Tristana. Maybe another combat summoner spell to just help him get through the earlier stages of the game. Ghost's really, really valuable on Cassio.
I think the Ghost is kind of what I'm leaning towards. I wouldn't be surprised if we get an Exhaust.
Okay, it's
no?
TP.
Oh, TP. All right, TP. I was leaning with you, but here we are, loaded up onto the Rift for our first game of our second series of the day. Right now, TLC, despite not being higher in the standings, is higher in Twitch chat's mind.
Good to see some TL fans in the chat. No, we got some parents there as well. For each of our teams. Important note.
The parents.
Yeah, Axu is going for the red smite, not give Zeri that shield from green smite, but also the first strike build. So looking like it's going to be that poke Maokai. So a lot of emphasis on the poke here for Dignitas. They have the sustain in the Nami. They will have a lot of magic damage coming out of the Maokai. It's going to be about poke, buying space, and then TL. They're going to have to find ways to break that.
Well, you kind of have to if you're XU here. There's not much magic damage that you have when you have Tristana, Lucian. Sure, you can argue Cho'Gath.
Yeah, they've got enough. They're going to be good.
Against the Sion and Sejuani?
They're going to be just fine. Just watch.
I'm just saying, with XU going that way, yeah,
They have true damage. It's Cho'Gath. So, big thing to look out for in the top lane matchup, Cho'Gath. Once he gets access to the wave, matchups get a lot easier for Cho'Gath. So, we're going to have to see if Bradley is going to be able to punish him the first couple of waves. Because once Cho'Gath can hit the wave, things do get really tough on the Sion side of that matchup. I very much favor Cho'Gath and think that Cho'Gath's actually a really slept-on pick. I'm really glad that a lot of our players are really starting to bust that out now as an answer into the Sion, because you were just a more valuable tank throughout the game.
Bot lane. Spawn debut here in the Challengers League up against Arrow and Kim Down. Arrow has been very aggressive with Kim Down in this league so far, and how they like to play around a lot of these opponents. And with how Tomo Diamond was kind of our perennial best bot lane, even though we have two other ones in Unforgiven, Destiny, that we've talked about a lot, and Lost in Zazel. Tomo Diamond were two pairings that really were dominating in how they were playing around the bot lane, where very few could actually combat against them.
I mean, Tomo was leading the league in goal differential at 15, whereas Spawn was unfortunately at the opposite end of that spectrum in LCS. But Spawn off to, see if he can be off to a better start this time around, I will say. I do favor the Zeri Lulu side of this lane in isolation. And at the moment, we actually have Mir. He's done his 3 topside camps, and he is sprinting towards bot to answer a play that he thinks is coming from XU. Drops a bonus ward to help out this Seri plus Lulu. Now we have Tristana moving with the Maokai. We could see some shenanigans here if XU wants to get involved and find out where Mir is at. As it looks like he's going to see him with the blue buff.
Yeah, they'll see each other.
Smart of the way, yeah.
Nothing too extravagant from these junglers just yet. Even getting some pings in the bot lane. Be a little bit cautious if you're Arrow and Kim down, but they do have Mir nearby. Mir's trying to get there in time. The Kim down took a lot of damage. Twisted advance with the flash away, but the Brambles back. Should be first blood picked up by Spawn, even though they trade back the tree for it. Gotta be careful. This is going to be a pretty big win for the side of TLC since they got rid of the tree.
Yeah, but the kill goes over to Spawn, which is nice. It's a refresh on the double buffs for Mir. So we'll see what Mir can get off of it. I'm curious if he ends up crossing and trying to contest the second crab. I don't think he can because Cho'Gath, again, he's fine in that top lane. As we're going to get a replay. This was over wards, so XU knows, he's got Twisted Advance. He can go in. He does sack himself for the play, but it is a kill going over to Spawn early. See what Spawn can do on this Lucian.
Getting the gold, helping him out just a little bit, but he hasn't gotten back to spend it just yet. We'll have some time before that will actually bring some power. And like I said, I kind of favor TLC getting the double buff refresh for Mir. Gives him a little bit more time on the map to try to impact. It's going to force the hand of XU. Look for more of these invades. Plus, he is now going to be a little bit behind Mir. So I'm looking at Mir and where he'll next make his mark to impact this map and really make sure that XU, who's more than likely going to be the... Well, not more than... He is going to be the AP threat for Dignitas and how far you can put him behind so he's not really that useful.
Well, I mean, that poke, it's going to hit no matter what as long as he's able to get those levels. And XU did have a decent response, taking away the respawn Raptors here from Mir. As Mir is... Honestly, that side of the jungle for Mir kind of lit up like a Christmas tree here by Hoon with that top lane priority on the Cho'Gath. So Mir is spotted at the moment and will take his first reset. But overall, Mir, those double buffs weren't able to apply them on the map anywhere else by Magical. And we'll have to see if Mir might be able to punish maybe the missing flash from XU moving forward. Of course, when Sejuani does hit 6, you have the opportunity to try and catch the Maokai. We'll see if Mir is able to execute that.
Hoon continues to bully around Bradley in this top lane. Making it really difficult for the Sun, as you called out. Once he hits level 6-2, it's going to be even worse. This is well played by Aspect. Oh, the poison. Not going to be enough.
Really well done by APA. Oh, hold on.
Hoon. Chomp, 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 chomp. Woo! Wait, and there's a kill bot lane, too. Whoa, hello, Dignitas.
Oh, no. We got to get a replay on the bot lane kill, but it looks like Spawn flashed forward to take down Kim down. Of course, was down summoner spells from the original play. So Spawn going back to base 2-0 on this Lucian. Really big, and then Hoon cashing in on the counter matchup. He dings 6 first and takes down the Scion.
Nom nom nom. Was able to feast on Bradley while Spawn feasts on the bot lane. Great plays across the map for Dignitas. These early plays that we've typically seen from Dignitas, even with Spawn, they're just as confident.
I do like this aggression from Spawn. Again, it's been such a tough split for Spawn in LCS. Love to see him stepping up and finding a kill here. As that he is up a pickaxe now on Zeri. That's a big deal here for Dignitas. As Dig are winning both side lanes, we did see APA play out that matchup really well in the mid lane to force Insanity back. But Tristana still can get push in this matchup. And so Dignitas, I mean, the full core press, it's already kind of on Mad Magical.
It is. This is where we've typically seen Dignitas thrive, but this is also usually the playstyle of Team Liquid. When they won their games yesterday, it was about them getting these early plays working, finding these leads that suffocated their opponents. So how they play from behind is where we've really seen them struggle. And now that they've gotten themselves this dragon, I'm curious to see what they do. If it's around APA and playing around this Cassiopeia, the one lane that's doing fairly well, or if they try to bail out Arrow in this bot lane and make it so that they can have Zeri online sooner rather than later.
I mean, I think a lot of it from TL has been the fact that they are drafting very heavy early game compositions. So when things don't work out, we can see things go south. But credit to TL, I think the last couple of series they've played, I know that their players have kind of credited their macro play. They're really improving because of what practice has been for them. I've definitely seen that on the map. And yeah, we'll see what kind of choices we have here. Oh, APA!
That was a petrifying gaze. It landed onto APA. Ooh. They got the solo bolo out of APA. The petrifying gaze, it didn't matter if you had the rocket jump or not. You still were stunned the moment you landed.
Oh, so APA, I mean, he sees the channel for the rocket jump, and he throws out the stun once the buffer's wrapped for Insanity. Now, Insanity lands in the ground, he lands in the queue for Cassio, and APA just guns him down. So this counter matchup for APA, I know Cassio, a lot of Cassio players feel like if you play Cassio well, it's more of a lane bully than it is a scaling pick. APA, he's bullying Insanity around in lane, man. This has been a really nice use of his counter pick.
And I love that, too. Insanity is like, I got XU here. This is an easy kill. We're going to dive. We're going to blow one up. And APA is like, nah, you think you've got this, but turns it around. XU has to turn tail and say, all right, what's the fallback play? And I asked, is it about the mid lane, trying to play around Mir showing up there? Well, instead it's just APA saying, all right, I'll win this out. And then, Mir, you can help out the side lanes all your own.
Still really tough right now as Dignitas, they started up this Herald. Insanity was able to get that wave in, and APA's got to catch it. I think they have to seed the Herald given how the top lane matchup's going as well. So even with the positive play mid for TL, still gonna at least fish around this Herald. Okay, hold on. Here we go.
Chugga chugga choo choo. There's the train getting the knock up on XU. Wow, that's a lot of damage onto the tree to cut him down. This might secure from here
they got
as
it.
well. And Insanity, he might have buffered away from the grounded effect, but it's a huge win again for TLC.
Bradley just pulls the trigger. He finds XU, who's flashing the sad B mode. As XU set behind again. His flash was taken out from that mid lane play. Hold on, Insanity.
Nice flash.
He's got no jump.
Assault. They've got the damage and they've got the stun too. So a killing spree at this point for Cassiopeia.
I love that play from Mir. He knows that Insanity was down the rocket jump, still down the buster shot. He's able to cash it in. Oh, Arrow.
Cashing over. That's the Zap connecting on
Arrow.
Spawn. You didn't want this one, Dignitas. Arrow and him down. The flash in. Diamond away. This pepper spray. One more needs to land, but Diamond will survive.
Woo, hold on. Zero survived. He's got the minions on him. Okay, we're okay. But, honestly, Matt Magical, the craziness of this stream today, we had 6 challenger teams playing on this stream today. And so far, our favorites, they've been falling as TLC. They just turned this game around from nothing with some good play around mid. I love the aggression from Mir to attack Insanity too. And APA in this counter pick, he's so damn far ahead.
Look at that. You're doing the wow.
Oh my god. I mean, for me, this is the crazy part about APA too, because as a player, a lot of people view APA and say, you know what, he's good at impacting the map, he's a control mage player, but APA has really diversified his portfolio of play. It's why he's now in Challengers League, and not with Maryville, because it's not just, the Ziggs, right, the control mage. He plays Ziggs as a counter, he can win lane matchups with it, and he's doing so here with the help of Mir really well.
And I want to talk more about APA, but let's look at this bot lane play, because I feel like this was just overzealous from Spawn and Diamond.
I mean, he takes a tower shot, Arrow's up a level, and Arrow, that nice surf over the wall. Really good spacing from Arrow to make sure he's able to get around that tidal wave. Good use of the ability. I mean, Kim Down pointed this out really nicely, and answer back the kill that Diamond and Spawn were able to pick up earlier.
That's single digits right there. I think he got single digits in health from the
calculated.
minions.
Arrow knew. He's been playing this game for a long time.
Yeah, that's what I like to say too when I had that happen. I'm like, you perfectly calculated.
Absolutely. Build up that confidence.
But let's go back to the conversation about APA. And why I like talking about this player is you talked about the Ziggs. The Rolling Soul is another pick that people like myself like to talk about him. Old Soul.
Yeah.
This is a player who I feel has always played his own style, yet it has been something that can conform to a lot of metas. And forces a lot of players to have to play, even if they should understand how to play against it, you are playing against a champion you're not as comfortable against, which always gives you a little bit of that competitive edge.
I mean, we've seen it work really well for Fear and Wildcard, and definitely working for APA, he is very comfortable in this matchup, as we have Tristana now stuck under her turret again. This is a pick that you take to get mid lane priority and bust through these tanks later.
Look at the lead.
But this lead for APA is massive. 2K on his own. It's more than the gold lead the TL has as a squad, and with that mid priority going their way, TL is going to drop this bot wave to make sure that they take the second dragon of the game, as that's all theirs. And TL, I mean, checking all the boxes they need to early here, Mad Magical.
Free Cassiopeia. I feel like when you have that, checking boxes at that point, you just completely erase the whole checklist. You're just like, all right, what's going on in this game?
That's just a first brick for Cassio solo.
Yeah, solo. This has all been off of APA. APA and how he's played this game against Insanity. All the plays that were made by Dignitas. All these great plays to try to get lanes ahead. You know, Hoon getting the solo kill off Bradley. Bot lane, Spawn and Diamond getting initial leads onto Arrow and Diamond thanks to XC showing up. None of it matters because of APA's lead here in mid lane.
I don't want to say it's all APA because I do want to credit Mir for how he played around this lane too. I think that he visited at a really good time, got flash out of Insanity and Axio, and was able to rinse and repeat it and turn around that Ritual play that I thought the map setup was going to go in favor of Dignitas. But TL, again, they've talked a lot about how they've been buffing up their macro play the last couple of weeks. And I think that we're starting to really see it pay off for TL. Again, this was a team where I looked at them. I didn't think they were that disappointing early on. Even though their record was a little bit lower, they've put some more wins on the board. I just thought they were playing some early game strats that weren't going their way. This time around, we see them, I don't want to say playing an early game strat, given that they have Zeri Lulu, but playing out an early game damn well regardless. Through APA and this counter pick mid, it's been really good to see.
You see right there, APA. He shuts up towards Insanity, and at this point, with Tristana, you're starting to outrange Cassiopeia a little bit more.
Yeah.
But you're not escaping from Cassiopeia.
I mean, look at the items. We're about to have like a 16-minute Seraphs finished here for the Cassio. Wow. The APA is going to just be machine gunning down anyone that he lays his eyes on as this Cassiopeia. You already see that the waves are going to the wayside, and I think that Seraphs might be done now. I think that's why APA is heading the base. This is so early for a second item. Oh my goodness.
Got it. Waiting.
And maybe.
Waiting. Yep, there it is.
Holy cow. All right, Cassio's going to be scary this game. And again, it's not like it's a tank Maokai. That's what it matters, but this Cho'Gath, the Maokai, they're going to get mowed down by Cassio. So they engage on Cassio. Keep in mind, she is vulnerable to range. There are tools that Dignitas can use to take down Cassio, but all eyes this game have to be on APA. Because if Dignitas cannot execute on this Cassio, APA and the damage that he has with how accelerated he is in this game will just mow through Dignitas.
We haven't even talked about the other aspects of TL just because we've been so focused on Cassiopeia. I'm glad you kind of talked a little bit about Mir and how he did set up APA. But it's not like Arrow is that far behind either. He hasn't died yet. He's a little bit behind in CS, but he's relatively even in items against Spawn on Zeri. Just waiting to scale up a little bit more. You're going to have this double threat with this double tank composition, the front to back. For TLC, that's going to be very difficult to crack if you're Dignitas, especially because you have pretty low range. Even if you have aspects of range, you're not the best range capability against the Cassiopeia.
It's going to take time. I think that it has to be some side lane control from the Cho'Gath, and then maybe using that to get a good Maokai angle, or, you know, crossing some angles with the Maokai plus Nami ult. We'll see if Diamond and Axio can pull that off. Again, APA will be vulnerable to range, and Cassio, you know, you can catch her out, you can chip her down, but if she is not dealt with, the amount of damage this champion can put out. I said 16-minute Seraphs. I was pretty close.
Yeah, you were. This is where I'm like, you're right. You're right. It's like Cassiopeia is susceptible to both ults from Maokai and Nami.
Items.
But items as well as miasma.
Yep.
You look at Dignitas.
Not saying it's easy.
And a lot of Dignitas want to fight in TL. Sure, you can try to catch out this Cassiopeia. All she has to do is throw down a miasma, and what do you do at that point?
Run for the hills or get around the snake. I don't know. It's going to be tricky. But APA, again, so far ahead, and I love this counter pick. And APA played out this matchup really well with the R5. It's good use of Scion. Taking that R4 pick, APA digging into that champion pool a little bit. We know they can play Cassio. Not his first time busting it out this season. I will say I think it's the first time he's busting out into the Tristana, as I believe that his Cassio has been piloted into Rise. And it is 2-0 with a 27 KDA in those two games. So, it looks like APA's at it a little bit. I'm not too good at math, but I think I might be up to 30 now in 3 games.
Math is good.
You know?
Math is good, remember?
Math is good, yeah. Even live math that we get right. I'm trying my best, man, Magical.
I believe in you. Don't worry.
All right, so right now on the map, we are 15 seconds away from this dragon, and this sole point for TL, but given how strong APA is, again, I said put APA in the side lane against the Cho'Gath, so they can't get any priority down here. Herald's dropped, and Dignitas, they're dropping this objective. They just want to trade for gold elsewhere. I think it's the right call, but
Looking for Hoon, and with my ass, though, Cho'Gath, he's like, please, let me go. Let me escape. I want to get out of here. I want to numb, but he couldn't even do so.
Yeah, just Cassio nomming on the Cho'Gath as those Twin Fangs taking bite after bite out of that beefy front line, but Flip side, trying to
I like
answer.
this from Dignitas.
Bradley's
The
fine.
answer attempted nice buffer with the ult from Bradley to make sure he'll be fine underneath the turret. And a second charge from Shelly might even be the tier 2 turret bot lane falling.
Oh my
More
God.
gold piled into APA. Jesus Christ.
He's going to be walking out with a Void Staff here at like 1830. Dear Lord, as this dragon falls, it's X-Tech on the map. Very
On a
powerful sword.
Cassiopeia?
Yeah, that can help you hit some more Qs, which it can. Also, APA 222 CS at 18 minutes. That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good.
Just a bit. Just a bit.
He's kind of chilling this game. He's even gonna give his jungler the crab. How nice.
At this point, you just give everything to the snake.
No, my jungler doesn't get that crab. I'm fed on Cassio.
At this point, you're like
fine.
Cassio,
Okay,
become
it's
an
a
anaconda,
Rywise.
please. Just devour everybody in your wake.
Yeah, I will say I really like the Rywise on Cassio just because she is so gated by range, and having Rywise just enables you to play within the range where you're machine gunning out damage so much more easily as the Cassio. So thought we might see the Void, but instead going to be that Rywise. I do like that here for APA. And now we'll see what TL can do, because they are grouped up, and this Cassio is damn scary. Dignitas have to run for the hills.
3 items. 19 minutes into the game. Yeah, I'd be a little scared of the Cassiopeia as well.
Yeah, it's kind of a scary stake.
Like, okay, I want to talk, more about narrative and stuff, but it's just, what can you do when you have APA this fed? And looking at this, I mean, I guess we could talk about APA and like how he got here, right? You got to see a lot of him at the TL tryouts and how this player kind of impressed a lot of people. And when you have a performance like this on Cassiopeia, your counter pick here on R5, you're definitely going to get a lot of heads and a lot of attention onto you.
I mean, not only that, but onto Insanity, who has been one of our best performing mid laners this split in Challengers on the top team. And TL, I mean, the way they've been able to play out this game, again, against a top team that we have in Dignitas. I know it's their first game with Spawn, but this is something where, I mean, TL are just running the map against Dig, and it's not stopping here as Hoon.
More gold. More and more gold into APA.
Hold on.
An ult fuse onto Hoon. They're cutting through him like butter.
Hold on.
They're trying to
go.
get APA, but with a wild growth on top of him, they still cannot kill the beast. Still alive, slithering away. Even Mir survives.
They had to throw everything in the APA. I respect the flash attempt from XU, but him down. He had his mid laners back. Now Mir gets to sustain with the Mogs, and this poke from Dignitas, it's going to go to the wayside here. We'll see if TL wants to get frisky with the Baron, as I think Arrow's going to have to hit this mid wave. I don't think TL's going to even risk starting this. They just want to wait for the Dragon fight where they are so heavily favored. Okay, Spawn.
Ooh, that was actually a good play from Spawn.
Really well done.
Getting the flash out of Kim down since he didn't have wild growth. Nets them that tier 1 turret. A little bit of gold back for Dignitas. A nice play there after, even if they didn't get the kills that they wanted to, or the shutdown they probably needed to onto AP, at least they're gaining some control back from TLC.
Again, as we talked about earlier, when you have a scaling comp, it is so important that you find your windows to be aggressive, because now Lulu's down a flash. That's something they can punish. Something that, Down just used Lulu really nicely to save APA on that Cassio, who is so fed, and now APA. Oh, ETP. They haven't spotted this TP. They're going to do this hidden.
So fast. They can take this so fast.
They're
they have
this
TP. Hoon's trying to join in, but they're peeling instead. There's the choo-choo train. Not connecting onto anybody. Bradley taking way too much damage. He has to fall back before Spawn getting a lot more damage back on top of him. Looked a little dicey there for TLC, but they'll peel back.
I like Insanity using that Buster Shot on APA immediately, too. Just get Cassio out of range. We
like,
cannot deal with this. Yep.
We'll deal with you last. You'll be the last one we worry about.
Now, I will say, if they can chunk APA before this Dragon, again, he is gated by range. There is good poke on the side of Dignitas. He did burn the TP to try and make that play. So that is another tool that's now missing from TLC that Dignitas could try and use to get TL out of that 10 or 11 carry comfort zone.
But it's also getting on top of APA in the first place. That is the difficult point that Dignitas have had. We talked about that last time where APA was in the middle of everybody, but they had to use Buster Shot away just to make sure that APA doesn't completely wipe them all. Now APA is regrouped with the rest of the team. Really difficult to get on top to, especially with Diamond having to flash away just to survive. Nature's Grasp coming out to scare away TLC, not getting APA, dodging away from the tidal wave, putting down the miasma as well. Insanity's not a part of this fight at all. he was still pathing towards the rest of the team.
It's decent poke, but it's all in the mirror. He has the Warmong. So, honestly, Dignitas use their tools for naught, and they will have them back in time for the Dragon, as a couple of those cooldowns are pretty low, especially that Maokai ultimate. We'll see if Spawn can get any chips in.
Miasma. It's down, so that's big tool gone. Could try to punish that at the moment, but all 5
He's
members
got
of
the
both
Wixer,
teams.
too. God damn.
Oh, man. APA is very strong, and with how much damage they have to worry about, look at how she slithers in. Looking for Hoon, putting the miasma down. The bubble connected. That's going to be
Bradley.
nuts, but they got to get the damage on Insanity, having the flash away with the rocket jump as
Wow.
well. Hoon left out to dry. They had to leave the take alone. The rest of Dignitas Challengers trying to get some vision back. Deny the Hextech Dragon Soul from going over to TLC. But that tender love and care put into APA to make sure that he is more than comfortable
they're out.
to net them this soul.
I really like the call there from Bradley. I know Bradley's, been this carry player still, second-year role swapping the top lane, but his call to just ult and go for... Oh, yeah,
Bye-bye,
good night.
Diamond.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Okay. No flash. Yeah, APA is a little bit fed this game. Call from Bradley, though, to just ult and split the rest of Dignitas. He found the 2 marksmen and just enabled APA to gun down that Shogath. So that's what opened up the space and opened up that soul to go over to TL for free as they continue to push their lead.
If you thought it was hard enough to get away from APA in the first place, Hextech
Yeah, there's a
Soul...
Rylai's now.
Yeah, well, the Rylai's was already there, but Hextech even worse. You're never escaping Cassiopeia. Once you're in that vicinity for Twin Fangs to land, you're just dead.
I really like the pick. I mean, I've been a huge proponent of Shogath, especially in the Scion. Cassio's making Shogath feel like crap this game. As, I mean, we opened the stream with you talking about how you got bit by a spider. We're now seeing what happens when, the Loch Ness Monster gets bit by a snake.
I haven't
And I
been bit
feel
by
like that might be
snake,
worse.
So I can't bring that one up. I have not been bit by a
Yeah,
snake.
but, I mean, we're seeing the Twin Fangs here. APA fighting into the Shogath 24/7. How's that
I
feel?
was just trying to see, I was trying to bring it back with the story, because, Spider, I didn't get bit by a snake.
I know. I said we started talking with you getting bit by a spider.
I know,
now
but
we're seeing
I
snake
wanted
bites.
to bring it back to the whole me getting bit by something, but I didn't get bit by a snake, so it didn't work.
I see we're going in circles here. As,
Yeah, okay,
TL.
well, speaking of going in circles right now, looks like a circle into XC
Yeah,
as he tried to get back in, diving away as well. That's a lot of damage on a Mir, but again, it's Mir, the one with Warmonks. You can't really do anything because he'll just heal back up. But the
Now
Hoon
Hoon's
takes
stuck.
all this damage. And what can Hoon do? He can't even get away. He wants
Throw
to
out
get the
silence.
feet off, but with the wild growth, there's just no Devour there at all. And here comes the choo-choo train. Double kill for APA, taking down the rest of Dignitas Challengers, running back. The bot lane still alive, but with the Baron up, what can they do to stop TLC from taking yet another objective?
APA, man, he's been massive in this game. Again, going up against Insanity, one of our best performing mids we have in Challengers. APA got the counter pick. It's been all him as Spawn trying to do what he can.
Doing his best, kite back, get damage on a Bradley, but APA says, no way. You're not getting this one. We're going back to the Purple Worm. Second Baron of the game for TLC. The Spawn and Diamond do their best to try to scare away and deny some of these recalls from TLC, at least delaying the inevitable, because once they back up, buy some of these items, it's only a matter of time before this game ends.
It's going to be 3 games, and I would deem coming into the day, 3 upsets here, Mad Magical, as it's been clean games from some of our Challenger teams. I love how TL played this one out, and again, I love how Bradley just knows his job. We're playing Scion. We have a Cassio that's fed out of her goddamn mind. Just walk forward, buy space, and make sure that APA is able to audit or throw out the Twin Fangs, right? As Bradley again connects onto Insanity, finds the 2-man knockup. Really well done, as APA has 0 threat to him in the fight. That allows for him to put out all the damage he needs to. And Bradley's done a really nice job buying space in this game. And a good look for TLC.
It's the growth of this player from the carry that we saw, the mid lane role swap of last year, now playing Scion, doing a great job of giving that space for the team. APA, 13K, almost 14K to his name in this game. Nobody is even close to that gold on either side of the equation.
Oh my. APA, I mean, we talked about investments earlier. APA, well, might have to talk to you after the game about what we can do with some of this extra gold that we have in our inventory, as Maokai ult is no dice. The Cassio is able to
Didn't even do any
sort her
damage.
out free,
And then they just throw back onto Hoon, and look how much damage APA does to both him and Spawn. And
Look at
Mir's
Mir.
like, hey,
Look at Bradley.
Bradley, hello, why are you back here? He's like, I'm a big tank. They can't do anything against me. I can take up the turret forever. And look, I'm perfectly fine.
Well, TL, they're going to brute force down at least an inhibitor as
And inhibitor.
stick around.
2 inhibitors.
I don't know how much they can stick around for as Dignitas were at least able to top off their health bars. TL did burn a lot of tools there to try and pull that one off. So it still is noms up for Cho'Gath. No ults though besides APA. If APA wants to flash forward, he could get real fancy here, but no reason to burn or risk that, as he wants to make sure that all of his tools are up just in case they need them for this upcoming Elder fight, where TL, again, heavily favored, but cannot say enough good things this game about TL, the game plan they had, how they executed around this mid-lane counter pick, and Mir and APA working together this game, man. Really good to see. I think Mir's been the best jungler that we have had in Challengers this split, and Mir put together a clinic in this game.
He did. Getting that early kill for APA around the Rift Herald, as you called out, that essentially just made it so APA's
The revisit, too.
It was the revisit, but even before then, APA's just like, I'm winning this lane. I'm already getting these leads. You get the revisit just to make sure that Insanity has nothing he can do in the rest of this game. And now,
oh boy,
he's getting chased down by Bradley. What can you do? You're a level down. You're getting soloed.
He's getting emoted on.
Damn, Bradley on Sion. Him down. You should have just let him have it because he could have won this one. Look at him.
Oh
Big
my
beefy
God.
dude. Like, welcome back to the finals. I'm the victor here.
What? Oh, man. The only 2 players that were in the finals. Bradley takes him down, flashing some emotes. Oh, boy. Okay, well, there goes Diamond. I think it's game.
Not Diamond. This is APA. Showing up and like, yeah, I'm massive at this point. Nobody can stand up to me. TLC, this is the team we were expecting when we came in to the spring split here of 2023. This is the level we expected, Cubby, and we get treated to it against one of our top teams in the Challengers League as they take down Game 1 against Dignitas.
What a game from APA and Mir, and what a game from TLC. Is that start to finish? Hell of a game, man. I love the game plan they had. I feel like I've been, really preaching for Cho'Gath into Sion. TL had an answer ready, and that's an answer that we really haven't seen yet. Playing Cassio in a lane that Cassio can win, but also in the multiple tanks. APA and Mir played that out so well. No chance for Dignitas to play that game once Cassio got going, and TL made sure it was clean. Really well played.
That they did, and they go up 1-0 in our best of 2. We're going to toss it to a break, and when we come back, we'll have our halftime show with Mazel, so make sure you stay tuned.
I wonder what's on TV.
Their carries, like you're saying, are
I
was wondering when we saw the...
Hello, welcome into the LCS Challengers League. I'm Magical, joined in by the bald one himself.
Breaking news, it's breeding time. Despite the woes of their LCS counterparts, Dignitas Challengers is good. Led by veterans Insanity and Diamond, seeing a return to Forum from Tomo, young players Exu and Who had taken the Rift by storm. Speaking of storms, Cloud9 have tied them at first. For more on that, let's go to Mazel with the weapon.
It's raining cats and dogs!
Mazel, I can't hear you. How are Lost and Zazel doing?
Thunder and lightning! Thunder and lightning!
What's going on?
It's over, Rizzler. You have nowhere else to go.
Gamers, one last time.
Are you tired of your League of Legends games ending in 30 minutes with a Baron fight into a mid lane push? Well, get on down to NACL Real Backdoors! It's backdoors galore! Get yours before the storage floor has no more! Boom! 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 Sign up with the hashtag NACL on Twitter.com for 10 minutes off your next Real Backdoor order! If you want some more Real Backdoor action, make sure you go to twitch.tv/Challengers League, twitch.tv/PathToLCS, twitter.com/PathToLCS, youtube.com/PathToLCS. Wait, we don't have that one.
Yep.
I want to welcome the Moose Haters Garen International Travel Agency. Do you want to play Garen? All you need to take is Ghost, Phase Rush, and a second item Zeal, and you can play Garen wherever you want around the world.
Previously.
Oh, hey, Cubby.
Oh, hey, Rafa. You were in their meeting today.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Listen, I was busy with LCS because I'm a full-time caster. But how was your Academy story meeting?
Rafa, you know it's called Challengers League? Or at least you would know if you were there. Oh, come on. Besides, we added 6 more teams that have way more fun games, so you're missing out.
The most valuable prospects already got promoted.
Yeah, that's the point of the league. Promote the good players.
You mean like me?
Okay, you know what? Casting with flowers was better.
Teams should quake!
Call the Rizzler today.
What if there was nowhere to hide?
Oh,
I know this
sorry,
guy.
SkyTech. You're not getting away from this one.
What if there was nowhere to run?
For this side. Blaze is like, I can deal with them. I'm fine. I'm okay.
What if there was no will to fight?
Come on, guys. We could beat them if we work together.
As the rest of C9 is on Baron, and now he's going to be solo killing again.
He's trying to get the best Hoon impression
get around
here.
it.
M&S 2. Nightmare on LCS.
Don't miss On the Range featuring Mazel weeknights at 11.
There's nothing on. I'm just going to play some League.